Alright. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, say Ka'alaimla, Hala, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Laha, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do rule and teach well. As well, none but peace, love, and blessings to the hopeful elect out there, to brothers out there, and you brothers in GMS affiliates. Let's all keep pushing. Shalom. Alright. Just give me one quick second here. And then we're gonna get rolling. You know? Gonna be a brief camp as usual. There's no reason for me to be out 4 or 5 3 hours, 2 hours when you're by yourself. There's no reason for that. In my humble opinion, I think you can make up, if you have a few points, you can make all those points in an hour, but it's all according to every brother's spirit and how every brother likes to do things. So what we do have between us all, though, is this. So let's just get this precept to start it off. I want this one right here. This one's my favorite. I'm just going to go into a few basic things I like to use. Psalm 94 and 16. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Alright? Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? That's us, man. That's brothers that are in GMS. I'm not going to cut this here. I don't want it to fall and break. Us brothers that are in GMS. Alright? That's GMS affiliates. Those brothers that are, preaching the same thing, message as myself, all the brothers that you see me with constantly. The first brother I met, Fakar Mayam, I met him, a bit of a long story. I saw him at the New York camp, and we've been camping together. Yeah, we've been camping together ever since. As I was saying, I'll read the scripture again. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Now we know this really starts off with Yahushai, right? It also goes into us as well. We're the ones that are standing against the evildoers in the society. What evil does the society want to push? Well, they want to push depopulation, right? Even with Ithaca 10 years ago, roundabout, they wanted to, they were going to push a law that will push fluoride in the water, and the people of Ithaca actually fought against it. There's actually no fluoride in the water treatment plants. Now, of course, they have something else, but they actually won that, and they are actually right for that. Wicked, but right. They were actually in the right spirit to fight against that, But if Ithaca was a place that just had primarily Jake in there, you think they could do that? Of course not. If this was Ithaca was just a town just of black people, you think they could pull that off? Of course not. Alright. Psalm 94 and 16, who rises for me against the evildoers, who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity. That's right, that's us, man. And how do we stand up against them? Well, we go out here on the highways and byways, right? We expose them, all right? So we go on the highways and byways, we stand out here openly, right? These people come by, they laugh at us, they smirk, they give us funny looks, and we keep pushing anyway, because this is what the Most High, Yahweh, has planned and has ordered us to do, right? Even with what in the cause Christ talked about this, how we're like in the marketplace, And, you know, we're piping unto the people, to the hopeful. Well, really, we're coming out here to pipe for the hopeful elect, but we're piping to all of Israel out here, right? Israelite foreigners, actual, straight up, normal, looking Jakes, and we're piping unto them spiritually through the word, through pushing out this truth, and they're not hearkening. They think it's a joke, and they don't mourn, they don't dance, right? Spiritually, how you dance is, you see a Jake, they'll you can tell that they're attentive and that they're wanting to learn, which I've out of the hundreds of people that I've seen walk by, I can maybe account two situations, or two, I say about three people who I personally believe could be the hopeful elect. Three. Out of hundreds of people I've seen in Ithaca that walk by me, three. Three people that have actually come by, attentive. Two of them were older Jake women. One was kind of a Jake man who was with a woman. That was his mother. And that's it. I have not run into anyone else who has wanted to learn. Right? Well, it goes to show you how this thing is of every, the elect is a very, very, very few number in comparison to the rest of Israel. Right? We know that the Lord has left them a small sanctuary, small remnant, so on and so forth. So I'd like to get.
Straight out in the sun. That's
Huh?
good.
Oh no! Of course, God told me to do this, so I gotta
You
go
know
do
what
it.
I'm saying?
Huh?
You're in the sun. Keep it warm.
Oh, of course, yeah. But yeah, I would like to get, I had to play stupid there for a second, And plus, in terms of staying warm, got these right here. These right here, hand warmers, must have for camp. If you don't have them for camp, that's kind of an issue. You can manage if you have a spot with a vent, but hand warmers are a must-have, in my opinion. And let's see if we can find Second Esdras, Tobit, Judith, Sirach, Maccabees again. Let's see if we can find wisdom. Trying to find Wisdom of Solomon. Give me 1 second. I really wish I could go live right now, man. I can't wait till I get enough subs for that. Okay, so I should look for the Book of Esther. So the additions to Esther, which you brothers should know, there's additions to Esther that's in the Apocrypha, which will tell you even more. I haven't gotten into it yet. Just haven't really had the time. But I will soon. I'm going to be in the city, get with that brother Rakam Mayum, and so on and so forth, right? This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Right? So then shall the righteous stand in great boldness, right? And how are the righteous standing in great boldness? You stand in great boldness by coming out here on the highways and byways. Right? And how are we righteous? Alright? Let's see. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Let's start from the top. No weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper. So no weapon that these people use, no edge, right? Whether it be spiritual, because these people do like to, conjure up demons and use spells on us, right? And try and get us down. The scriptures talk about how no enchantment shall succeed against Jacob, right? They like to do those kinds of things. Elites, they have witchcraft and use witchcraft with the technology and conjure demons using technology. They actually even show that in the video game out here. Not out here saying in Ithaca, but I'm just saying in general out in the world, called Shin Megami Tensei. In that game, you have like demons, and you can like conjure up demons, like literal demons, with like a phone or something, and you summon the demon, and you fight with the demons, and you fight other people's demons. It's like Pokemon, but with demons, basically. You know, and where do you think they got that from, man? They got that from the scriptures. That's what these people do. They actually can do that through the tech. That's the modern day witchcraft. You know, back then they had different, you know, incantations, and you know they had like different manuals and books and manuscripts on it, like that. I believe that Egyptian dream manual, or maybe it's the Book of the Dead. I think the dream manual is something else. I think that goes back to Joseph or something like that. I know brothers have mentioned that. Maybe not in that connection. I honestly don't know. I know I've just seen elder brothers in the main camp mention it, you know, but they recommend the younger brothers not to really get into that. And I may watch that video when I get a chance, you know, because I mean, I've been in here for a year, I've been in here for some time, and I'm already pretty aware of certain things within the scriptures. But when it comes to getting into the actual book itself, I'm not doing that. You know, even though I could, if I wanted to, I'm just like, for me, I'll probably just watch a video on it, and that's enough for me. You know, I haven't really gotten into a lot of Egyptian stuff like that, which is kind of a lapse in my part. But I'll get better as time goes on. I'll tighten up and you know, get better. So right, Isaiah 54:16, no weapon that's formed against you shall prosper. All right, so whatever it is, whether it be you know, the demons, or whether these people, you know, come against us with weapons during Jacob's trouble with guns, right? If that is, if the Lord doesn't, you know, want us to die that way, right? If they're not going to get us, you know, if that's the Lord's will, you know, we know the nukes. We're not going to suffer death by the nukes, right? And that makes sense because why it's like that, right? Isaiah 54:16, behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I've created the waste to destroy, right? And what is this? Who's that smith that bloweth the coals in the clay, man? Right? It's a German scientist starting with a German scientist, the Temanites, as we know in the scriptures, the wise men of Tema, who created the nuclear missile. Well, first it was the atomic bomb, and created the plans for it and whatever. His name was Robert J. Oppenheimer, I believe his name was. And basically, what he did was that, you know, he created that thing. He actually had a quote. He said, "I am become like death," and he was quoting the Elamite stuff, the Indian religious texts about Shiva. And he was basically likening himself to like Shiva in a way, I guess. Well, that's why he was quoting it, and saying that he was the destroyer of worlds. "I've become death, destroyer of worlds." Because through him, he's caused a lot of death. Through him, a lot of death was caused with the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And in this time, these missiles out here, is going to be so many of them, and the missiles have been advanced. The world is going to be way worse than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. All right, so the scriptures talk about how the earth is going to be a lake of fire, man. All right, a lake of fire. With the worst being here in America, man. All right. With the worst being right here in the United States of America, which is Babylon, according to the scriptures. And we know, according to, I think, Jeremiah 50, that no man shall dwell here. And I think it's also in Revelation as well. No man is going to dwell here after the missiles come down. All right. And no, when it talks about Babylon, it's not talking about Iraq. Because in Jeremiah, it talks about, right, one scripture you can use to prove that. It's in Jeremiah 49, I believe. Right, the least of the flock should draw them out. If you look at that one, it talks about Edom And you look at it another, it talks about Babylon. We can actually go ahead and see if we can get that. So I can prove it. I haven't gone into it in a minute. This is the book of Jeremiah 40 and 55. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord they have taken against Babylon and his purposes that ye have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the habitation desolate with them. Right? So Babylon is America, the land of the Chaldeans. Right? The Chaldeans are these elites. I believe the Chaldeans go back into it. Back then they were the elites. Yeah. Persons considered the wisest in the lands. Exactly. The elites. Astrologers. Right? The scientists, so on and so forth, top scientists. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the desolation, the habitation desolate with them. All right, and who is the least of the flock? All right, those Amalekites that are in Israel. All right, they're the least of the flock. All right, and the reason why they're the least of the flock is because you look at it in history, Israel is always passing on weapons information to China. So Israel is actually gonna monger World War III, which is gonna come upon the whole earth. You know? Well, I mean, it's gonna come apart. It's gonna be in the Middle Eastern region, but you know, there's always gonna be fighting, and destruction that's gonna happen everywhere else. All right. So let's go look at it in Psalm. That's Psalm Jeremiah 49. It's the book of Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord they have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he's purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flocks shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the habitations desolate with them. You notice in one verse, one chapter, it says the word Babylon, but then you look at another chapter in verse 49, it now says Edom, Esau, and Teman. All right, so that shows you that there's a connection between Esau, the so-called white man, and Babylon. All right, which Babylon is basically a spiritual name for the ruling Edomites, right here in America, for Esau, you know, right here in America, in the western part of the world. Okay, right, and explaining that again, verse 20. Therefore here comes the Lord they have taken against Edom's purposes that he had purpose against the inhabitants of Teman, which just proves that the Edomites are not done away with. Edomites are still alive today. As I said, the so-called white people, the word Edom, Adawam, which means red. All right, after that red pottage, uncooked pottage that Esau wanted from Jacob, right? He gave up his birthright for him, right? When you go into it, I'm pretty sure I'm correct about that. But with that, you know, and you look at Esau, Edom, you go into something called the Fitzwater scale, and it will show you that white skin burns easiest in the sun. Almost always burns when in contact with sunlight. Right? The darker the skin shade goes, right? Those who are like a bit lighter than me, you have my shade. Then you have medium brown, and then you have dark brown, and then you have really dark brown. Right? When you get to there, you look at there, it says that it never burns, because we have melanin. Right? We have something called we have melanin that makes our skin this color. Right? Well, it protects us from the sun. And that has nothing to do with evolution. Right? It's the way the Most High created us. The angels are black, right? We know the whole story about the sons of God. I had the elect, they were once angels at one point. They came on down on the earth, right? Lord created women to be there for them, right? Then we, increase the seed and so on and so forth. Now I want to get something, and that's the first fruits breakdown. I want to actually get it again because this is like, it's the Fitzpatrick scale. It said Fitzwater. So this is the Fitzpatrick scale. The Fitzpatrick scale or Fitzpatrick skin typing test or Fitzpatrick phototyping scale, this is wikipedia.org, is a numerical classification schema for human skin color. It was developed in 1975 by American dermatologist Thomas B. Fitzpatrick as a way to estimate the response of different types of skin to UV ultraviolet light. It was developed on the basis of skin color to measure the correct dose of UVA for PUVA therapy, which using like skin, I guess like light for diseases or some shit. I don't know. Reading down, the following list shows the 6 categories of the Fitzpatrick scale in relation to the 36 versions of the older von Lütjkin scale in parentheses. Type 1, always burns, never tans, palest, freckles. Right? These are your ones that are really red, man. That go back to original Esau, man. He's pure red. Alright? When they burn, what color do they become? Never tans, right? What color do white people become when they burn? They become red. They have that translucent skin. Right? And their blood vessels sow right through their skin. Even when so-called white people get angry, what color do they turn? They turn red. Right? Even look at people like what's his name? Liver King. Right? He's been exposed. I mean, brothers should know he was already on fucking gear and whatever the fuck he was on, whatever hardcore bodybuilding drugs, which we already know that we're forbidden to partake in bodybuilding drugs, even if you may want to become massive and get muscles. You can't take the steroids, man. You're pretty much gonna have to make do with using herbs, using I wouldn't really recommend protein powder. I'll say maybe vegan protein powder, or maybe some like really low processed protein powder I would probably use. I know Yahimbe's been shown to actually act as a fat burner. That's an idea. So you have that, you have enzymes, you have protein. I mean, you have those things, and I mean, I haven't tried them yet, but I think you could be straight. I hypothesize that you could be pretty straight with just that, without taking the steroids. You're pretty much just gonna have to, make do what we got for now in these weak bodies. But we know in the kingdom we'll be stronger, we'll be bigger, more powerful, and everything. I can't wait. I can't wait. But let's go back to this Fitzpatrick scale, right? Type 2 usually burns, tans minimally light colored but darker than fair, right? You have some Edomites that are like that, right? Edomites that may have mixed with other nations and then they mix right back in with Esau, right? Type 3, sometimes mild burn, tans uniformly, golden, honey, or olive. These are usually colors that you get in the first generation when a Edomite has sex with a brown-skinned woman. The baby kind of comes out like my color roundabout. Even though that's not my situation. Both my parents are so-called light-skinned, right? I don't know where my mother's fathers go back to, but I know she's a straight Judite. My father, he goes back to Scottish, right? And he's a Judite, right? Type 4, burns minimally, always tans well, moderate brown, as I was talking about. Type 5, very rarely burns, tans very easily, dark brown. All right, and as you see, as the skin color gets darker, it rarely burns. All right, because black people typically don't get skin burns or sunburn. Type 6, never burns, deeply pigmented, dark brown to darkest brown. All right, and that's the color of Christ. Christ is type 6. Never burns, deeply pigmented, dark brown to darkest brown. And that's what Yahushua is. Yahushua is the darkest brown, deeply pigmented brown. And that's how our people looked. Dark skin, brown skin. We had our people having different skin colors. I don't have it with me now, but you look at the photo of Egypt, of Israel in Egypt, and they'll show you. Right? You had some that were my complexion. You had some that were medium brown, chocolate complexion. Right? Some that were ruddy complexion. You had some that were brown. You had some that were dark brown. There was differences, and it makes sense because our forefather Jacob, he had concubines, a woman, All right. So yeah, of course, the skin color is gonna look different. You know, then Jacob, sons of Jacob over time, we dealt with different nations, dealt with Hamites, dealt with Ishmaelite women. Right. Of course, off of that, the skin color is gonna darken. Not darken. The skin color is gonna look different. We're gonna have different shades, but as long as your fathers go back to Israel, you're Israel. You know, as I said, my father's fathers, starting my great grandfather, right? They were Judites. They look like white people, right? And I'm involved in the ministry, right? And obviously I'm an Israelite, so it don't matter, you know. I just like to mention that for you brothers out there that may look a different way, that you're still the people that go south. So let's go back to that one that we were in. I don't want to break this, so I'm actually gonna hold this because I don't want to. I can't have this thing break, man. I don't have enough money to pay for it. To pay for a new tablet. But let's see here. You can go ahead. Damn, man, why is it lagging? Damn, bro. The sensors on this is a little bit buggy sometimes. There you go. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. Right? So every tongue that shall Right? Every tongue that shall rise up against us, thou shalt condemn. Right? And for you people out there, you other nations, right? That's why, those Israelite guys are allowed to scream at you. All right, they're allowed, according to scriptures, they're allowed. But raising your voice like a trumpet, set that face against Mount Seir, America. Right, we're ordered, ordained to be able to be angry, be upset. All right, who said the scriptures don't say we have to be nice, we have to hug you and kiss you, and we're not doing that anyway. Now, we're gonna hug and kiss over. You're not my friend, you're not my ally. People fucking hate me. Right? You people want to depopulate my people, so of course I don't like you. All right? How the hell is me as a man, as a self-respecting so-called black man? How can I be a so-called respectful black man and I'm kissing up to my enemy physically? That makes no sense. That makes zero sense. All right? A man that does that is not a self-respecting man. All right? That's a slave who loves to be a slave. We understand that we're slaves here in this country, but we don't like it. I'll deal with you if I have to deal with you at work, but I'm not going to sit here and hug up and kiss Edomites or comb in the scriptures. Like you have, Korach Israel out there, combing the scriptures trying to look for ways to save the so-called white man. Coming out here saying that the only way you're going to destroy this country is through righteousness. Like, no, man, Yahweh Shah is physically going to come down and destroy this place, man. Physically. Missiles will actually come here. You know why it says an hour in Revelation 18? Well, it takes approximately 30 minutes for the Soviet missiles to come down here. And once the missiles come down here, it's going to take the other 30 minutes for the destruction of America to happen. So that's 30 minutes for the missiles to come. The other 30 minutes will be actual out-and-out destruction. All right, and through that, you're going to have the chariots that are going to be there. Right? Do I know exactly when? Are they going to come at the top of the hour? Are they going to come, when the missiles start coming? I don't know. It could be in another part of the scriptures. But I'll just say when that hour happens, the chariots going to appear within that hour. I'll say it like that, be general. Right? And it's going to be a theatrical destruction, man. Right? Because the Lord, that's the Lord's MO. Alright. So Isaiah 54:17, the weapon that's formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. That's why we have a right. We come out here, you people come up. We have a right, and it's our duty to condemn you, man. To say, hey, you're going off, man. So that's what you people do. We're damn devils. People always come up with different bullshit to try and get on us. Alright? Right? That's why we talk about, we condemn these people out here, man. Right? How the hell am I gonna sit here kissing up to some so-called white man? When the so-called white man is putting out false flags, he's planting false flag operations to blame the ministry, man. And to blame all of Israel, man. They're gonna have shootings come out, and they say, "Oh, look, it was those Israelites that did it," right? And then that's gonna, that's gonna have them coming against us, man. That's Jacob's trouble right there. A time where Jacob is gonna be in some trouble. All right, all of Israel is gonna be in trouble, man. All right. Isaiah 54, verse 17. But we know the Lord is gonna save the hopeful elect, watch over the hopeful elect. All right. Isaiah 54 and 17. The woman that's formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness of me, saith the Lord. All right, so that's how we're righteous. All right, so see there, how the righteous stand in great boldness. Right, the righteous, which is us in this truth. Right, we stand in great boldness by doing what the Lord tells us to do. All right, what does the Lord tell us to do? Set our face against Mount Seir, stand against these people, make a stand for something. Like, that quote was from that Rothschild agent, Alexander Hamilton, but it's a good quote nonetheless. It was him who said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for everything. And that's actually a decent quote that he came up with. You don't make a stand for something, you'll fall for anything. We're making our stand against the society. We're saying that what the society does is wicked. These people are wicked. All right, we're telling you that the fucking elections are fake. All right, all the fucking politicians, they have the same banker campaign contributors. All right, we're telling you that the money is fucking pieces of paper. All right, the money's fiat currency, has no worth whatsoever. And we're breaking it down, man. And we get into it. So that was a little warm up for me. The Spirit wanted to, get into some various topics. That one's my favorite. Psalm 94 and 16. It just speaks to me, man. All scriptures speak to me, of course. But you have certain scriptures. Like I remember hearing a podcast. I think I was watching a podcast from GMS Classic Kings. I think it was that one. I can't remember which one though. And they were doing an interview with different elder brothers in the truth, and they asked them. I can't remember the name of the person that leads the podcast and runs the channel. He asked, what is one scripture that you keep in your mind every day you leave outside your house? And they all had, different answers. And that got me thinking, like, what is one precept that I should have, that I should be thinking about? And that's, and I thought of Psalm 94 and 16. I just really like that one. Very simple, straight to the point. It tells you what you need to know. Right? Because all that, you hear all these people online, like Alex Jones, he'll say that he's the man to go against the New World Order. See, he's not the one to go against the New World Order. We're the ones that are going against the New World Order. Alex Jones doesn't talk about Israel no more. He used to, but Alex Jones is a sellout. Alright? The ones that are getting into Israel and getting onto all these different connections, right? Well, you have other people that do that too, but only we do it when we connect it to the scriptures. Right? We get into Iran, right? Iran's connection to Israel, Russia's connection to Israel, America's obvious connection to Israel, right? And we know that Israel is the one that's mongering this whole Third World War. Not Third World War, World War III. Oh, man. TheHill.com. Pentagon chief, Russia modernizing and expanding its nuclear arsenal. All right, so I haven't read this article out before I can, but I'm just going to read it. And if I find something through Spirit that I want to get into, I'll get into it. This is usually the time I like to go into news anyway. I don't really do a lot of news videos. Should do more. But, as I have more time, I'll start doing that. whatever the spirit. So Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Russia is modernizing and expanding its nuclear arsenal as its invasion of Ukraine continues, and Russian President Vladimir Putin has made threats about using nuclear weapons in a conflict. Right? And what's his name? Vladimir Putin is subservient to the Amalekites, man. All right? In Russia, you have something called the Chabad Lubavitch. And those are what we call oligarchy of Amalekites. They have a lot of political power, and I believe they also finance Putin. I just know that I don't know about that part. I think I maybe heard that somewhere, but I know that you have a lot of political power in Russia. There's always photos of Putin shaking hands with different people in Chabad Lubavitch, right, and so on and so forth, which makes sense, right? Because when you go into the history, the Khazars were actually in the land of Russia. Right, Eastern Europe, the Caucasus, Russia, Georgia, right? This is where their strongholds are located. Those Khazars were a very nasty bunch. You could tell that they go back to Esau, man. They were just all about destruction, carnage. They would massacre their own brethren. They'll destroy them, They were harsh, man. Just the same way Esau is, man. Before they converted to Judaism, you can read about this in the 13th tribe. I believe they had it where their kings, they would kill their king at a certain point. They wouldn't let him pass on the throne and move on. They would actually kill him. You hear about King David. King David passed it on to Solomon, passed on the rulership, and made sure that Solomon was going to get that rulership and that power seat, man. One of Solomon's brothers tried to take away the throne from him, and the Lord wasn't having that, because Solomon was the man for the job. All right. Also spoke on Friday at a ceremony for the new head of U.S. Strategic Command STRATCOM, Anthony Cotton. The agency is responsible for strategic nuclear deterrence, right? Which that the Spirit of the Lord is in all things. And when those missiles come down, the Lord is going to pour out His Spirit on those missiles, pretty much hijack it. Have a spirit, is going to put a spirit on there, have an angel that's going to be over those missiles, and they're going to make sure that they hit the destination. All right. So basically, the Lord is going to hijack them and control it, and make sure that it hits its chosen spot. And yes, the Lord can do that. All right. The agency is responsible for strategic nuclear deterrence, nuclear operations, and missile defense. Right, which America is a land of unwalled villages, because they literally don't have walls, and also they lack a true missile defense system. I remember hearing about that. But even with that, as I said before, the Lord is going to have where those things aren't going to work. They're going to hit their spot. All right. Cotton took over for Charles Richard, who has served in the role since 2019 and retired Friday. Also, they acknowledged several challenges to STRATCOM in the near future, including the expanding Russian nuclear arsenal and Chinese nuclear forces that are growing, modernizing, and diversifying. And as the Kremlin continues its cruel and unprovoked war of choice against Ukraine, the whole world has seen Putin engage in deeply irresponsible nuclear saber rattling. All right, he said. Right? And the Lord is having Putin do that to set the world up for World War III, man. He's going out, he's getting those nuclear weapons, and he's basically saying that he's ready, man. So what's gonna tip the scale, so to speak? Personally, I think it'll be a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. I don't think that tip the scales. World War III is just gonna happen just like tomorrow or something like that. But Jacob's trouble has to come first. But what I think is gonna really escalate things to maybe skirmishes is if China moves to take over Taiwan. You go into the history. Taiwan had the remnants of the the Chinese Nationalist Party that basically fled after the Chinese Civil War, and they fled into Taiwan. And that's why the Chinese Communist Party wants to go in there and finish the job, so to speak, because they pushed the nationalists out, but they didn't take them all out. And since we're talking about the Chinese nationalists, that goes back to what's his name? Sun Yat-sen. Sun Yat-sen, he wasn't a real Chinese. Sun Yat-sen was not an ethnic Chinese. He was an Edomite. You can look at that in his appearance. He looks like a straight up Edomite, man. That ain't no original Chinese. All right, and he was I believe he was educated in the West, and they sent him down into China. And he pretty much led a revolution to get rid of the Chinese monarchy system, and then they put in place the nationalists. Then after him you get Kai Cheng-shek, something like that. And he was the one that was fighting the Chinese Civil War, I believe. And then he got kicked the fuck out, and his people ran and scurried over there to Taiwan. And then you have the CCP that's been in there ever since. We know that Mao Zedong. I remember hearing this from one of these truther channels, World Alternative Media, talked about it. Kissinger met up with Mao Zedong and pretty much helped him out with that famine that he created. Mao Zedong was a devil, man. He's probably Edomite too, man. He was a big devil, man. But let's see. I'm looking for beat our plows into swords. Is what I'm looking for. I might actually go to not GMS, look for King James, look at a topic. There you go. That was Joel, the 3rd chapter. So we might even go into a lot of this in Joel. Alright, let's see. Joel, James, go back. Joel, chapter 3. Let's see if this actually loads. But in the meantime, I will just go out and get it here, because that thing can be a little bit slow. So, man, it's getting cold now. Oh, shit. Shit. Okay, we're good. We're actually going to start from the top, to be honest, because Joel has a lot of good info in it. We'll go start from the top, and that's why it's good to have these. So just put these right into your glove, and now my hand is warm. I got warm hands. Right? Will be all the more important when I get into the city. Joel 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which already happened. Right? We start with 1619. They brought the Negroes over here from the west coast of Africa and brought them over here to America. To serve hardcore bondage. Alright? This is what they've done. Alright? We've been taken here. We've had our women raped. Alright? Our children taken away from us. Right? We've been used and abused. That's why I said the faces such as afflicted him, because in the history, Edom has afflicted us, man. And even after we were let off from slavery, right, they created the Freemasons, right? Illuminati. Through what's his fucking name? Albert Pike created the Ku Klux Klan, and they've been hunting after us, man. It shows that enmity and that hatred between Jacob and Esau, man. We don't get along, We hate them damn devils, man. They've taken it too far. They've gone way past the punishment limit in the scriptures. It shows they're not the people of the Most High. Verse 2, I'll also gather all nations, will bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations, and pardon my land. Right? In the valley, I'll gather all nations, right? All the nations, right? Because all the nations are going to be in those militaries. They're going to come down, right? Even so-called neutral nations, their descendants are going to be in that battle too. Because I mean, with Japheth, you don't really hear about Japheth in Hawaii. Well, Hawaii is under America anyway. You don't really hear them getting into shit like that, you know. But they're in those militaries. You got Japhethites that are in the U.S. military, right? Because America is a melting pot, right? You can read about that in Habakkuk, the second chapter. They gather unto themselves all people, and they stole Hawaii illegally. They pretty much occupied it and took it. Pretty much the same thing they done in Japan, but they occupy them. They're just there to be destroyed. Because they're gonna get nuked, and that's gonna be the end of that. But they're pretty much the reason why America goes around taking other people's lands, right? Like it says, woe to them that we'll talk about. Woe to them that. Oh yeah, woe to them that covet another's field and take the land by blood. Take the land by blood. How to make a blood promise. I'm looking for the scripture that says how to make a blood promise. It's fucking wicked, man. Where is it, man? I'll read this one. Habakkuk 2:12. Woe to them that build the town with blood and establish the city by iniquity. That's right. That's what they done. To deceit, destruction. That's how Esau's got his rulership in his lands. He's built these cities by blood. Right? With Hawaii, Esau illegally stole Hawaii. Right? You still have those Japhethites that are in that land still crying out for justice. But you're not getting justice, man. You're gonna get nuked. It's gonna happen. But the reason why America goes around taking all these different lands is basically for military reasons. Right, for one, in Hawaii has military labs, right? Also, Hawaii is important to keep the Chinese out, which during World War III, that's actually where China is probably gonna make a strategic base head. They're probably gonna come down to Hawaii, take over Hawaii, and then use that as a base of operations. For the short time that they're going to be over there, to get absolutely fucking demolished and annihilated, right? By missiles and chariots and so on and so forth, right? Right. I also gather all nations, bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and pardon my land. The word heritage is not kala, possession, property, inheritance. Right, exactly. One of the Lord's property. Right? We're the Lord's occupancy, right? The Lord's dealing with us. Right? Possession, portion. Exactly. We're the Lord's portion. The Lord cares about us. Right? And more so, to get even more understanding, the Lord cares for his hopeful elect. Right? 2/3 of the nation of Israel here in America do not care about the Lord. They will meet their death here in America. Right? as is proper. Like as is proper, as is fair, as is proper, as what they deserve. Alright? I'll plead with them there for my people and my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, alright, part of my land. And we have been scattered among the nations. Go back to Antiochus Epiphanes. He had us scattered. He had people running away from Israel when he came down and was bringing death and destruction. Saying that it was unlawful for any man to call himself a Jew. Even with that too, through him doing that, he converted a lot of our people into the Greek shit. And what do? They went over to the different Greek lands and started calling themselves Greeks. They removed the circumcision. They actually would stitch, like take pieces of skin and stitch the skin back on in a way and pull it up and pretty much uncircumcise themselves, right? Because they uncircumcised themselves in the spirit by moving away from the Lord, but then they made it physical by literally undoing it. And that's what our people were doing in the time of the Greeks, the Greek captivity, right? That little bastard Antiochus Epiphanes, also called Epimenius. Epimenius means madman, which is Joe Biden. Joe Biden, I might make a meme like that. I'm gonna show a photo of Antiochus Epiphanes and then show a photo of Joe Biden, and I'm gonna make a meme out of it, man. I'm gonna make a meme out of that. Now that'll be funny, you know. Right, and parted my land, right, and they started parting that land first. The Ishmaelites and the Turks got in that land, in the land Israel, and they were in that land doing their Muslim shit. And then with time, with the Balfour Declaration, which that came about in 1918, and in the periods of times after that, the Rothschilds pretty much started to buy out that land. Right? History will tell you that the Ishmaelites actually sold parcels of land to them at first, and they actually dwelt together. But in time, you know, Amalek pushed those people out, and they pretty much used Britain and America, you know, as I guess you could say like bargaining chips in a way. Like, if you don't give us this land, we're gonna bring them down here. They're gonna destroy you. You know, and that's what Amalek has done. You know, the only reason those Amalekites were able to go into Israel with that Balfour Declaration was because the British and Americans gave them weapons, all right, and let them take that land, all right, because that connection to the same exact people. And the real reason is because of the Illuminati, all right. He heard me. It was an Edomite. He walked by, he heard me say that, and he walked right down the way. That's funny. That's funny. But hey, I don't give a fuck. Hey man, you know, and I want to just be happy in the kingdom, man. I'm gonna have me some Moabites, some Ammonites, you know, it's a little bit of everything, man. I mean, I'm not picky, man. I want them all, man. I want women of the different nations. I want to be rich. I want to be fucking gigantic, muscular, huge. In the kingdom, man, I'm gonna be straight, man. So I don't care what other people got to say or other people think, man. Right? Verse 3, Joel 3:3, and they have cast lots to my people and have given a boyfriend harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Because that's what they did in slavery, man. They sold our people out. Right? They had chattel slavery. Right? Verse 4, were ye and what have ye to do with Tyre and Zidon and the coast of Palestine? You render for me a recompense, and recompense me swiftly and speedily. Will I return your recompense upon your own head? Let's read on. I gotta go into this, but I'm pretty sure this means like the world and all these nations. Because you have taken my silver and gold and have carried away into your temples my goodly pleasant things. If that happens in history, the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold into the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. Oh, come, the Arabs, the Ishmaelites sold the Israelites to the Edomites, so-called white. Oh, come. That's right. They called them the Grecians. Exactly, because they were calling themselves the Grecians at one point too, Esau. Right? I'm not really gonna get into this. I don't really know the breakdown. I haven't really got into this chapter like that. Behold, I will raise him out of the place. Verse 7, behold, I will raise him out of the place whither ye have sold him, and return your recompense upon your own head. Exactly. They're going to go into slavery. Right? And I will sell your sons and your daughters to the land of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans and people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. That's right. Because we're going to have a slave trade in the kingdom of heaven. We're going to actually be selling Edomites. According to the scripture, we're going to sell Edomites. We're going to buy them, and then we're going to sell them off, man. We're going to get them, and then we're going to sell them. All right? Proclaim ye for them to basically be slaves and servants, not so they could rule and run shit. All right? No Edomites are going to be ruling anything in the kingdom. In that land, as it said in Amos 9 and 12, all right, that land of Edom, their land, is actually going to go to our possession. Because they want our land so much, the Lord is going to have it where we're going to take their land and we're going to dwell in their land. All right? Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, these other nations. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. All right? And that's what's coming. All right? These other nations, they're preparing for war. You're hearing about Russia doing military drills and war drills. You know, you hear about all these nations, you know, coming together, you know, and building up military, right? And the focus on this is China, Russia, and Iran, right? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right, so pretty much this one means is that these other nations are starting to build up their factories to build up guns. All right, build up guns, build up nuclear missiles, build up their arsenals, which they are doing, as they're talking about in this article from The Hill in Russia. They're building up the nuclear missile armory. All right, and they're building up for a reason, you know, for what we read in the first verse. They're coming on down into that land of Jehoshaphat, to the Middle East, and there's going to be a war. There's going to be destruction. All these nations are going to go down there, and it's going to be bloody. It's going to be very, oh fuck, man. Yeah, someone smoking some shit. Yeah. But yeah. Let the weak say I'm strong, right? So all these nations are coming together, man. You know. See, Iran, I have another article that's talking about Iran passing on weapons to Russia. Which you hear about that. Iran was pushing what the fuck you call that shit, man? Fucking drones to Russia, because Russia's running out of them, so they say. And they got more from Iran, right? Because Iran and Russia were closely together, and then Russia and Iran were closer with who? They were closer with Israel, with those Amalekites, man, those fake Jews. Okay? We're showing that they're the ones organizing, doing this whole thing. Basically want to set up that new world order. They're thinking, you know, the elites of them are thinking, okay, we're going to have the elites of you guys get into the bunkers, missiles come down, you guys escape, and then that'll be it. You guys can get out and create your new world order. But that's not happening. All right? Verse 11, come, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause that mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Right, the mighty ones, the angels, let the heathen be wakened and come into the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I was to judge all the heathen round about, right, and bring destruction and death and suffering upon them. They have done to the children of Israel. Right? So that's pretty much it for what I want to get into. That article pretty much speaks for itself. We read, you know, what we needed to read. Right, they called it nuclear saber rattling. Right, it's like Russia's basically puffing out their chest to the rest of the world, you know, preparing for war. All right, and World War III is going to come. Before World War III comes, there will have to be a time known as, oh man, I didn't mean to put my Bible on the ground. Oh shit, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I gotta stop doing that, leaving my Bible on the floor. But yeah, as I said, you know, the Jacob's trouble is gonna, come down, and that's martial law, right? We know that what's gonna organize that and set all that up. It's multiple pieces. For one, it will be the false flag operations that they're gonna come against and say against people such as myself, say that we're murderers, that we're child rapists, that we rape people. I've never raped anybody out here, never attacked nobody, never bothered nobody. All right, but we know that's all part of the game that these devils are gonna play. So close off. You see, Wrangler, your whole and Lowell, you will edify, and Shalom. And oh yeah, just so you see, I got the sign out here too. So brothers know. All right, that's it.